with Coach Micah Hughes and Blake Sims. Thanks for coming on, coaches.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank you. We appreciate it.
So, Coach Hughes is the head football coach at Mount Bethel Christian Academy, which is in Marietta, Georgia. And Coach Sims is the offensive coordinator. So, I'll start by asking you, Coach Hughes, can you just share with the audience a little bit about your background, and then after that, we'll get into Coach Sims's background as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when I got out of high school, my brother was the head strength conditioning coach at the Baylor School in Chattanooga, which is a very prominent program in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so he kind of I wasn't going to go play in college, but I wanted to coach, and that was the kind of roped me into doing that. Started out in middle school and then worked my way into high school, and then really was hooked from there. So I spent 5 years at the Baylor School, was able to be a part of two state championship game. We played in two state championships. We were runners up in both those games. And then really just kind of grew my love there. I ended up going to help start a program in a rural part of Tennessee called Sell Creek, Tennessee. And so really kind of we jumped headfirst there into playing varsity football with kids who had never played before. And it was really, we went 0-20. It was, for a lot of people, that would be very discouraging. But for me, it was probably one of the better times I've had coaching, just because I really got to coach the kids from the ground up. And just pour into them. I mean, teach them how to put a helmet on, teach them how to put shoulder pads on, jersey, all of those type things. And, and different stuff like that was just amazing to me. I then left there and went to Ridgeland High School in Rossville, Georgia. We had a lot of success there. Was able to have a couple undefeated seasons, win a couple region championships. And then my degree, I was teaching special ed at Ridgeland High School. And then my degree is in history. So I ended up transitioning to a private school in Clarksville, Tennessee, across the street from Austin Peay State University. And I took a job there, was the defensive coordinator. And I got to, teach history during the day, which is something I enjoyed doing. And kind of got back into private school there. Left from there after 3 years and went to Boyd Buchanan, which is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had two small children, so wanting to get back closer to home was an important thing for my family. And was a defensive coordinator and assistant head coach there for 3 years. My last year there, I was able to work under Gary Rankin, who's the winningest coach in the state of Tennessee. He's got 17 state championships. Boyd had been 0-20 before that, but before Coach Boskin got there, once Coach Boskin got there, he kind of got it back rolling. Coach Rankin took over and actually took them to the state championship this year in middle private in Tennessee. So, I mean, just being under him and being able to learn, he prepared me to take this head job this year here at Mount Bethel Christian Academy in Marietta, Georgia. Been an unbelievable experience. Again, but I'm back where we started the program, and that was what intrigued me about the job, was to go back to where I could start a program. And after doing it, I don't say the wrong way, but after knowing kind of things to work on and improve on from having done it in the past, being able to implement the right practices and the right way to do things here has been an unbelievable experience, and just a great journey for me so far.
Definitely. And that's great to hear. You had that experience as a first time head coach, and you brought a lot of that experience to your new school. So with that said, Coach Sims, can you just introduce yourself to the audience and share a little bit about your background as well?
Yeah, most definitely. My name is Blake Sims. High school, I went to Cass High School, Cass Cardinals, in Cartersville, Georgia. It's North Georgia. And played there, had a good time, enjoyed myself. I was kind of raised there a good part of my time, had a lot of great friends that I'm still engaged with these days, and always will respect Cass. And then I ended up leaving and going to Gainesville. And that's when I started becoming an Elephant, man. That's when I was an Elephant, and had a great season over there. Family was there and everything. Then I was blessed to go to the University of Alabama. Went to Alabama for 5 years. won 2 national championships, and was blessed to be the MVP of the SEC championship in 2014, and was also the first team to be in the AP poll to play in the college playoff. The first year that they came out with it, and went to the NFL, played professional football for about 8 years, and played my last 2 years in Frisco and Spokane Arena Football in Spokane, Washington, and then I played for the Frisco Fighters in Dallas, and enjoyed it. And I retired, and I called my godfather, Will Carter, and he let me know that my godfather Jody Ray he was over at the school, and that's when I got introduced to Mount Bethel, and he offered me a job there, and I took it. And that was also the first year that Mount Bethel started a football program. So I was just blessed to be there. And now that's when I was fortunate to meet Micah, and I heard everything that he wanted to do for the program. And when I heard him and I met him, heard every word he said, I said, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that history. And Mount Bethel been nothing but great for me, and I'm just glad to be here today.
Awesome. Well, that's, congratulations on your background, really impressive. So I'll open up the question to both of you guys. So can you just talk about like both of your playing experiences and how that's helped shape your coaching career so far?
Yeah, from my standpoint, I played in high school. I mean, I played middle school, high school. I mean, I grew up playing football in rec league, and then middle school, high school, I was an all-region player. I think like a lot of other coaches, you have opportunities to go to some small schools and play, but with money and just different things like that, it wasn't in the cards for me. And that's when I got into coaching, basically as I always called it a GA job when I was at the Baylor school. And being able to I mean, I came out right as I graduated when I was 17, and then so when I was coaching some of these kids when I first got there, I was coaching middle school and high school. A lot of these kids were older than me, so it was really intimidating. And but to be able to even as a a student coach or whatever, to watch how it's done, I think that really shaped my career. Not that I didn't have great coaches or anything like that growing up, but being able to see some of the guys that I worked with and was able to go get balls for throw balls, in DB drills or receiver drills, or be the scout team quarterback and different things like that. And from a coaching standpoint, that's really what guided my path in my career as far as that goes in my journey.
Got it.
Yeah, with me is just being fortunate to go to the level that I went of playing football and going through adversity, and then also making sacrifices. It really just the way that my football career went, I could kind of see how it kind of led me back to coaching these days. And because I mean, all the way through my career, I got important people that I'll never forget. Tanya Aiken. I'm sorry, I think her name now is Tanya Sanders, and she's a big impact in my life, because I say it, and when I say it around her, she always says, "Don't tell me, don't say it." But I feel like I made it out of high school and went to college because of her, because she was a big impact. She was someone that wasn't always like yes or yes. She would always tell me the things I didn't want to hear. So the key people that I have met in my life, I'm pretty much taking this now that I've retired. I've taken this in another role of trying to be that special person in a young man's heart, and in his story. Um, this is the reason I love being with Coach Hughes, because I also get to see a different side of being an athlete. Like, I'm not an athlete no more, I'm a coach. Sometimes during practice, I used to get so mad at my players because I would want to. I know how it's supposed to look, and I know I would want to go out there and do it, but I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. So now the way that my word choices and the tone of level that my quarterbacks receive it it means a lot. And I've seen that, and also picking up things from Coach Hughes and Coach Washington and Coach McAfee and all our great coaches that we got on our coaching staff. I've been picking up a lot of things for them that have been helping me. I mean, I even told a lot of my ex-coaches that I apologize for the hard-headed player that I was, and just thinking that a coaching job would be so much easier than what it is now.
Definitely. And both of you talked about adversity and overcoming that. So can you talk about some of the key philosophies you have within your program at Mount Bethel and how you teach your kids to overcome adversity?
So our philosophy, you know, and this is something that I took from a coaching mentor of mine, Jeremy Boskin, is we say P3. It's people, process, and product. And we say that, you know, if you have good people and you have a structured, organized process in place, the product will take care of itself. And so, you know, we've really, when I first got there, that was what I hung my hat on, was I am going to surround this program with good people. You know, and you know, we can take care of the coaching piece, but you know, I've got to first have a good person. So when I was interviewing and trying to find coaches and trying to find fits for our program, that was the first thing that I sat down and had these conversations with these men about, was, you know, just their, you know, and it wasn't a whole lot of football conversations. It was, I wanted to find out what kind of person they were. You know, because if we're going to spend all this time with these kids, you know, we've got to surround them with the right people. So, you know, that was the biggest thing from that standpoint. And then, you know, when we first started having our coaches meetings, you know, coming in, every program I've ever been to, it's always been, how quickly can we get this scheme implemented? You know, we got to get there. And a lot of times with new hires, it's a short, you know, you don't have an off season. You've got to rush in there. You've got to try to implement your offensive scheme, defensive scheme, special teams, weight room. And it's a whirlwind of all this kind of stuff. And I told our coaches in the meeting, I said, look, I said, we're going to do this. We're going to do this a little differently. I said, we're going to first spend time with the kids. We're going to pour into these kids and build these relationships with these kids. The scheme will take care of itself. That stuff will work itself out, you know, and we've got good enough coaches. We've got good enough men around this program. That's going to be okay. But I want these kids to know that we honestly, truly care about them. And we are working as hard as we can for them in both football, but in a lot of other ways. And so that was the biggest thing coming in that we wanted to get in place. And so, and I feel wholeheartedly that we were able to do that. And in the short amount of time that we were able to be there and get our staff together, with really not having a true off season, and the pour in and the buy-in we were able to get from these kids was just unbelievable. And you know, I couldn't thank our coaching staff enough and what they did. So it's been a great experience.
Definitely. And before you go, Coach Sims, just wanted to hit on one of the points you said, Coach Hughes. So I was down at the convention this past weekend, and you know, that's what a lot of these successful coaches are talking about. You know, I heard coaches from like UNLV speak yesterday, and coaches at the FBS level, and they're all just talking about, you know, focusing on the kid. And it almost sounds cheesy, but it is true. Like you have to build a culture where you show that you're not just caring about the X's and O's. You know, you care about the kid as a person. So, with that said, Coach Sims, what do you think about all that?
I think is, like I said earlier, man. That's the same thing he told me, and when I heard it, I was like, that's exactly what we need. And I started immediately thinking, what is my role? Like, where do I fit in? Right? What do I need to do so I can be, you know, the part of the car that I can help the car, you know what I'm saying, accelerate and go and drive. And my thing was just implementing the standard, the Mount Bethel standard. You know, what are we? Who are we? You know, what we're gonna do when people see us, what they're gonna say. When they say our name, what they're gonna say. And just pretty much just letting these kids know that, like, you got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know, that when you're uncomfortable and you feel like you don't need to do this or do that, make sure you still choose the right thing. Make sure you lead by example when you're on campus. Make sure that everybody can look at you and be like, hey, I need to act like him. You know, the guys that want to separate themselves, them the guys that we want to have around. And the way that we want our program to be run, we want everybody to understand that, like, hey, when you come to us, when you come to us, you're gonna become a way different person when you leave. When you leave us and you head to college, you're gonna be prepared on and off the field. So we just trying to turn young kids into grown men.
Yes, sir. And I feel like it's timely to bring up this, especially with Coach Saban um, announcing that he retired. So, coming from Alabama, Coach, what are some things that you learned specifically from Coach Saban and your other coaches at Alabama?
Uh Man, I was just speaking with Micah with this. I think everybody speaks so much of how good of a coach that Coach Saban was, you know, and everybody asks me what separates Coach Saban from other coaches. And the reason I say this is because like I was a part of it, so I kind of seen how not only players that were interested in the process, coaches were interested in the process. So I saw how Coach Saban got on there, you know, and it's the time that Coach Saban used to tell like his leaders that you got to get to learn your players before you just yell at them. Because if he's the type of player that you can't yell at him because all he's gonna do is put his head between his tail, then you know what I'm saying? Like you can't yell at him. You got to know what type of leader. You got to know how to follow before you lead. So the time that he used to pour into us to get to know us and understand us, and like I said, man, he wasn't our father, but he was really like our father figure. So it's just like that right there played a big part. So when he yelled at us and he pushed us to limits to where that we thought we could never go, that's what separated Coach Saban from a lot of coaches.
Definitely. Yeah, and I've only heard great things about, the process and you brought it up, and I think you brought it up as well, Coach Hughes, just focusing on the process, not just the outcome, and kind of catering your coaching philosophies to the specific kid, because like you were saying, Coach Sims, every kid's different. You can't yell at one guy and expect him to react in one way when maybe he's, like you were saying, maybe he's going to put his head down and just shut down. So, all great stuff. And in that same vein, I'll open it up back to both of you. Going back to the beginning of your football coaching career, what advice would you give yourself that would like better serve yourself for your career in the future?
Honestly, for me, it was funny because I working with Coach Rankin. I mean, I was with him for 1 year, but looking at he kept, and I was talking to our athletic trainer about this today. We were talking, and he kept every single script of every single practice, every single anything that he did, he noted it and put it in a notebook and kept that. And that was something that, I mean, he could look back and say, okay, we're playing in this game. How did we handle, this? Maybe it's a similar situation. You're playing in a state championship game at 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, he's done that however many times. He's able to go back and look and say, oh, hey, this is exactly what we did. I think probably, honestly, and as weird as that may sound, just the amount of stuff that you're able to kind of keep and to log, because again, helping start a program like I did at Sell Creek, I still have all that information. I started back then kind of keeping that stuff, so I'm able to, again, you're able to look back and you're able to see, and then I think too, the programs that you go into, you're going to be able to pull positive and negative things from everything, and that's the biggest thing for me is everywhere I've been, I've always said kind of in the back of my mind, hey, when I become a head coach, that's something that I'm going to bring into my program, or, that's something through trial and error that we saw that wasn't successful. And so, through that, you're able to kind of construct your process for how you do things. And I think, any success that we've had this year with our football season and then continuing on in the future, I think it's due to that. So that would kind of be the biggest advice that I would give.
Gotcha. And what about you, Coach Sims?
I really just tell myself, trust myself. Hey man, trust yourself, believe. You know, it's still the game of football. It's still X's and O's. Believe what you can do, and understand that like you got to believe in yourself before somebody else do.
Yes, sir. Any last words that either of you want to share with the audience today?
No, I don't really.
No, I'm good. I appreciate you taking the time to have us on. This is a great, I think this is a great thing that you do, and just promoting the coaching, just promoting the coaching industry and the coaching world and the camaraderie and everything that goes along with it. I think is phenomenal, and just being able to, like I said, get on YouTube and watch some of these shows and see some of these guys and hear what they have to say, and just the continuation of education and coaching, I think, is phenomenal. And you got a lot of great people out there who are willing to share, and a lot of people who want to listen to them, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be on here, and I know it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I would add, man, is just a message for coaches and players, man. Just love the opportunity, endure it, and enjoy it at the same time, and love your family while you do it. Love your family while you do it. That's what I love about Coach Micah, man. He allows the kids to come. He allows your family to come to practice, but like at the same time, your family understand that it's business. But at the same, he's very family oriented. So man, enjoy it, respect the game, and respect the guys of the football game. And just respect everything and thank the man upstairs every day.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, I really appreciate both of you today. Thank you very much for sharing, and excited to witness your success at Mount Bethel. Thanks again.